This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian. Mission 250.
Welcome to the Mission 250 podcast, you guys. We're doing another bonus movie. How do you feel about that?
Feel all right.
I feel semi
In the
okay.
mood to talk about movies?
Yeah.
Well, no, semi in the mood for this movie.
Got a lot going on.
Gotcha. You don't want talking for 2 hours, TC? Come on.
No, I hope we
TC.
don't end up talking 2 hours about this one. Sorry.
No. This movie was talking for 2 hours. We're watching
Oh,
Conclave this year, 2024 movie directed by Edward Berger. This is the guy who did the remake of All Quiet in the Western Front that I think all of us were impressed and disgusted by.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was very, very gory. And then completely opposite side of the spectrum here, we got a PG movie about a bunch of people talking in a building for 2
That's
hours.
right.
It's called
Not
Conclave.
a single stabbing.
Not a one.
Not a one.
Yeah.
No blood.
Yeah. People die off screen, but not in ways you'd expect, I think.
That's right.
So we're going to go 20 seconds, spoiler-free reviews. Let's start negative and go positive, huh? Let's start with TC over here.
Well, I'm not going fully negative. I think, it was an interesting topic. There's some good acting in it for sure. It's so semi interesting story, I guess, but it's just reminded me of watching American politics, but they're in robes and they talk forever.
Yeah. John, what do you think?
All right. I love the cinematography. I love these beautiful scenes of people in motion and sitting there and giving you a sense of place. Ralph Fiennes was great to watch. I like that it was kind of slow. I don't think it stuck the landing, though. There was a speech at the end and the way that things turned out and the revelation, and all of those parts just didn't work very well, which is kind of a bummer. I felt like it was really building up to something, and then it kind of fizzled.
That felt like longer than 20 seconds to me,
That was
TC.
definitely
What do you
longer than
think?
20 seconds. John, you need to
You're taking points off, John. Taking points off.
Thing they call
Sorry.
Keeping score here, John.
It was 30 seconds. I
score.
failed. We need
2
the timer.
hours later,
I
we're
gotta really
still
work
watching
on something.
Conclave. Right.
All right. I got to find an extension here.
Yes, you do.
In the spirit of the movie, I will talk for longer
Talk
than I should
forever.
have.
What monologue are you going to do now, John? Let's think it through. Yeah.
All right, 20 seconds. So I agree with the setting, the plot, and the costumes. It's probably going to win all of those. It's impressive that it's only $20 million budget. I thought it was filmed in all the real locations. That's how good all of it looked. But I thought a couple of the actors were miscast, and I thought the ending was weird, but I did find it intriguing all the way through.
Yeah, that's exactly. Intriguing is a great word for it, Denny, because you don't get to see too often the inside of the Vatican, right?
Right.
Like, even if it's made up, but it's still like it's such a sort of sectioned off part of our culture that you don't really get to know about because it's so secretive and.
Yeah,
but it's
that
still
part
boring.
is pretty cool.
It turns out church is boring. It turns out the
Yeah.
Vatican's boring. It turns out the people in it are boring, and they
But
talk.
those buildings were
more
huge,
than anything
man.
else.
Wasn't that impressive? Like the buildings, like the size of the stuff they were filming
Right.
I was constantly impressed.
Yeah.
Which is
It
stupid
would've
to say, but it
been-
was like being in a really cool museum for a lot of the movie.
It would have been great to see in the theater for that sense if you were pretty relaxed and just like feeling like this sense of place. And because the music was beautiful, the people were moving around, so it was like you're in like a nice museum. But then everybody's in costumes too, and I don't know. It's just like there's
And they're nice
beautiful
costumes.
scenes.
They look
They're very
pretty
strange
cool.
costumes.
yeah. They're strange, but
very
cool
strange.
looking.
But the uniformity of them is really cool. Like if there's a scene where they're all like with the umbrellas, and they've all got the same umbrella, and it's gorgeous. It's really like amazing to watch.
It's like
And-
stuff
or-
that you only really see in like animated stuff. Like a lot of
Yeah.
it seemed like it
Right.
would have done that. The boring stuff, really complicatedly animated, is usually done in animation. I don't know.
Yeah.
They do that boring. They do the boring, good-looking cinematography in this. We're gonna have 200 people walk down in the same costume for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Nothing's going on. They're just walking to go
Not really.
talk about this thing. But look at this. Isn't this cool looking? Yes.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's the best part of the movie to me.
Yeah, I
for
was
sure.
thinking. I was really thinking at first because given the director and okay, they're sequestered. someone's going to get murdered.
I
and
thought
it's going to
something
be like this big,
I thought something
like,
exciting was going to happen at some point, and then, it just
The
did not.
suicide bombing was a little bit exciting, but
it was
that shot was in the
off-screen.
trailer. Right, but that shot was in the trailer, and that's
Right.
the reason I really wanted to see this when I first saw it, because that really gets you. But I forgot, because it was going so slow, I forgot that even happened, so I was actually kind of surprised
It's like, oh yeah,
when
that
it
guy.
happened in this movie.
Well, it was good timing, right? He hands his vote in, and boom, the
There were a
whole
couple,
place shakes.
those parts were the parts that bothered me the most in this movie. That some things, it went along so naturalistically, and then that happened a little too coincidentally. The fact that like it was like his vote and then the bomb explodes,
Right,
that's too movie-ish for how this movie is
Right,
going.
right. You could have waited a while or something.
Right,
or-
it could have not been right after him. Like, what point are you even trying to make? It's too
And it's
coincidental.
God.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's
But
right.
also the part that really bothered me in this movie was when he broke into the Pope's room and he found the secret papers in the fucking headboard. Are you kidding me?
Right.
That's
Just
Happen
like,
to see
that
the little
needs to happen.
whatever it was sticking out the side.
That needs to happen for the rest of the movie to go along, but that was ridiculous, and I didn't believe it for a second. And I was like, he happened to break in on this night, and it happened to like find a little piece of fluff, and it happened to have all this shit in here, and it happened to like link this guy to other shit, like, and they just happened to already expel that first guy, because like this needed to happen at this exact period of time, because the what's his name, Third Rock from the Sun guy, wasn't the front runner at the time,
Lithgow.
right? Lithgow.
A well-known
I'm calling
actor
him Third
outside
Rock
of
from
the
Sun guy,
sitcom.
because that's exactly what I thought, Denny.
And he was the most miscasted of everyone. He
wasn't
fit.
good.
He
I know.
just like played himself. He was like, I'm evil. What do you want from me? Hey, I'm Third Rock from the Sun guy. This is how I talk. This is how I stand. I'm not acting. This is who I am. And then Stanley Tucci was the same freaking way. You can't put an accent on.
Well,
Everyone's in the goddamn Vatican.
Tucci doesn't do much. I
No.
mean, in general, like even on his show in CNN, right? Like that's how he talks. It's not
You
really-
recognize him. You're like, oh, it's Tucci. He's going to
Yeah.
be Tucci in this
It
one.
was
Okay.
Tucci. All right, Tucci.
Yeah. I mean,
and
did it
is-
bother you guys that the priests, like, of course we knew they were shitty people. Like, that, it was
wouldn't
like,
think
you're
the
learning
ones-
about all of this stuff that they're doing, and
Oh,
then
it
all of a
was
sudden,
mild.
the only point is that, yeah, they suck. Like, okay, I
mean,
knew that
first
going
one wasn't
in.
that bad. He had a kid that he didn't take care of. I mean, I guess that's really bad for the church. But
It's,
I mean,
what
that
do you
happens all
mean?
the
It's
time.
against all the rules.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
you
you're
can't
not
have
sp- you're
sex
supposed
with
to
the
be celibate,
nuns.
kid.
I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't
no one's
care.
at least no one's supposed to find out about it.
And then that's sort of like, everybody knows that we're just human and we can't be like, fuck, then get out. You're in the wrong job. You are literally in the wrong job. You're not
is
supposed
that-
to be
You're
there.
supposed to sin? I never was taught that. It's like you're supposed to sin so you can confess. It's like, no,
What?
you're just supposed to not sin.
Right.
That's the whole point.
Especially
isn't it?
as the priest. Sure, you're talking
Yeah.
about normal people, but you're talking about a priest.
Yeah.
I don't know. That part of it kind of like,
That's what I always
just
thought
kind
too.
of
But then again,
ruined
I'm
it.
not a very religious person. So maybe if you get further into it, it's like everybody sins, guys. We all need
Well,
to, fuck
supposedly,
really young
maybe,
people every
yeah.
once in a while.
maybe.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's a
The
it's gray area.
priests, I mean, if you
but
take sex away from
Vines
people,
was
they're gonna
wonderful to watch.
do some weird shit.
Vines didn't have a lot to do or say in a lot of ways. His expressions and everything were great. Like he was.
He had
He was great to
one
watch.
scene where he cried really well, and then he had another scene where he couldn't cry, and I was kind of confused by that. As a
Yeah,
crying
tears.
Yeah, I
now?
was like, what is he doing? I seen him cry, but I'm like, they must have used eye drops in that
Oh,
other
there
scene
you go, yeah.
to get it to flow nicely.
Yeah, it's got to really flow.
And what I kind of liked watching this movie too is like I didn't quite know what it was about. I mean, like you knew they were going to pick the Pope by the end. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I was going to
Yeah.
be pissed off if they didn't do that. But like, what was the point? Was it just to show this process, but by the end, it kind of seemed like a character study on Ray Fiennes' character, which was kind of cool because the way he came off in the beginning and the way he tried to project himself to everybody else was not exactly who he was.
Yep.
Because he kept trying to say like, I don't want this. I've never thought of the name before. But by the end, he comes pretty quick with the name for himself and he writes himself down being like, I'll take it if they're going to give it to me,
Yeah.
So like everything that he says in the beginning doesn't quite fit with how he is at the end, which is
good.
Which is good. It's
Yeah,
like
that was good.
humanizing and
If
yeah,
it was about him, I think that would have been better too. I
it
just
kind of is. Don't you think?
well, no, but I mean, it's also too about like there's the confrontation and the speech that the guy who eventually becomes Pope gives, which is really not very good. I like I like the ideas of what they're trying to say, but
Anytime you got to rely on monologues, it's not a good sign.
I guess so. Like what that is supposed to be like. It could have just been. Might as well have did the slow clap after he's done with his speech, and then they all start clapping because that's the way it felt like. It's like, oh god, and then okay, now he's Pope. Is it like
I saw that coming from the second vote. When the first vote he got one, the second vote he got two.
More votes.
And I was like,
I'm
that guy's gonna
be
win.
the guy.
Maybe that guy.
Yeah.
He's got 4 now.
Oh, look at that. He's got 3. Oh, he's got 4. He's definitely going to be the Pope. We get
He's
it.
going up. He's the only
on
one
his way
going
to
up.
the Pope. Yeah.
And then they were like,
Anyway.
is he transgender? No, it's science. He's just got
it's
2 things.
Something not quite that, but
Oh,
sort
man.
of.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell what Ray Fiennes' character.
He's a guy with a womb.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
couldn't tell if Ray Fiennes' character was concerned because he had concerns about it, or concerned because he was already Pope and everyone else was going to have concerns. I didn't know where he stood on that, and that was upsetting because it was about Ray Fiennes, and this big reveal at the end was kind of well, I don't know where he stands on this.
Right, but I thought what was going to happen was we were going to see that he was deeply flawed too, and that there was a real scandal in his past. But now it's too late because he's already Pope, and that would have sort of fit with the theme of the movie that all these guys are really flawed, and that to me would have made more sense that this guy still wasn't quite who he made himself out to be. That would have been, I think, more consistent with the film, and instead it was sort of it was trying to be a pot. And I like the idea. I'm a liberal guy. I like this stuff. Fine, but it just didn't.
Don't say that out loud anymore, John. You got to hide that.
I know.
Might kill you.
I mean, not that I am. No.
No, sarcasm, guys.
Yeah,
Another
sarcasm.
Hilarious sarcasm.
More sarcasm. Just funny all day. Maybe you need to beep that out, Terrence.
I don't know. I mean, I the thing that was weird about that whole scenario with them kind of talking it out and then him not making the decision to narc him out basically was I wasn't sure if that was the character, arc for Ray Fiennes, for what that was the character arc for the new Pope. I wasn't sure which one we were supposed to feel for there. Is he making the decision not to rat him out because he's letting go of the idea of controlling who's Pope, or is he making the decision to not rat it out because it's easy?
Wait, what are we talking about in terms of ratting out?
At the end, when he hears the information from the new Pope, and he's like, "Oh, now what do I do?" What I was referencing was you were just talking about. Is I was confused on what decision Ray Fiennes was making, as far as was he making a decision to be I don't want to deal with this, I'm done, or was he making the decision that okay, this is what God's choice is? Is he I wasn't sure, like you said, not only where he stood, but what is the character arc change here that we're supposed to be getting from the story? I was confused on what that was.
Right, and it's further muddled
Same.
because it's just not clear if there's even technically whether or not there's anything wrong that this guy's a womb. It's not like he did anything wrong. It's not like that he's even a woman.
It's just that he held a secret,
extra,
I guess. I mean, because
he's got an extra body
tell
part.
somebody that.
Well, he's not a full man, right? And that's got to be breaking some laws in the church. That's what I took out of
Maybe,
it.
but it seems it seems a little
fair.
gray even then. I can understand if he was actually
Well,
a woman.
they did focus on the women, women are pushed to the side. That was the big
sure.
Isabella Rossellini
Yeah, but
part,
this
right?
is
So right.
which
That's
was
the problem,
also
though.
a little distracting.
Being a part woman is part of the problem. That's
I
what
guess so.
I mean. I think that's
you
not even my
can't be
interpretation. It's
Mary
gotta
and
be.
Jesus. You can only be one or the other.
These are sexist people, right? That's the whole thing too. It's they're all trying to be understanding. They're trying to push the church forward, but they're extremely sexist. They don't let women into the
there's still
positions
rules.
of power.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Sexist rules.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tradition.
And this guy is a part woman, and that's a fucking problem for them because that's going to open up the floodgates underneath them, right? If you got a partial woman at the top, that's why this country won't elect a woman, is because God forbid a woman isn't in power, right? Yeah,
but that doesn't leave him
scared of women.
That doesn't leave our protagonist with a decision to make on any of it. All it does is cut.
Because
and then
the
we're in
decision
some.
he has,
It's he didn't do anything.
Clear.
It's
Right.
easy to does
Why?
he tell the press early or does he wait for it to get leaked? It's that doesn't really matter. They're going to know either way. I guess you can frame it a little better if you release it, but people are going to think what they think. It doesn't really matter.
Well, but and then it goes back to did he take it in as a confession? In which case he can't tell anybody. He's hiding behind that like he did earlier in the other situation. With
but it's going to come out.
The
Didn't you
nurse.
think? The information was going to come out regardless.
Oh, because you think someone else is going to be like, hey, by the way, we took this guy's uterus out. Just let you know.
Or they had an appointment
thought
for
about
it.
it.
And
Yeah.
I think
Hey.
I don't know.
I thought that they said it was going to come out either way towards the end. I don't know.
Oh,
Gotta
that
remember.
someone
that
will,
was just a
yeah.
wrong
Oh, yeah.
assumption.
Someone will know. Yeah. Eventually, they'll figure it out. Once he's the Pope, then people will be like, "Hey, who'd this guy? Where does he come from?" And
But
then
hey,
so
look,
you're
we
like,
already did the
"Hey,
white smoke,
That's
so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but somebody over there will be like, "Hey,
we're
that's
good.
the guy that no-showed me for the uterine removal. I was mad. I was going to go golf that day, and he's not there."
I
So-
knew that
confess
guy
away a
wasn't
body part?
I knew he was a liar. I absolutely
Yeah.
knew he was a liar.
And why? That was another part that bothered me. This guy just showed up. He literally just
wow,
fucking
what was
showed
that?
up,
They
and
just
they
walked
picked
him in?
Yeah, that's stupid. There's no way they would have picked him.
And
He's
no
a-
one else
he's-
said,
yeah.
"Hey, who's this guy?" Right?
Yeah.
Like I was
'cause
astonished
Ray-
by that. Nobody else stood up and was like, "I don't know this guy
well,
from
that-
Adam. Never heard of him. Pope never mentioned him.
Yeah.
I don't think this guy's true." Like, and they
Can we,
glossed
like-
over it with that little
And they're sequestered,
discussion
right?
about
So they
It
can't
doesn't
look
make
it
any
up or
sense.
do anything, which is not a good idea to do an unknown person as the Pope. That's a terrible fucking idea.
But that seemed like also that he was supposed to not do anything, but yet he was still having some people do some investigating. So he wasn't consistent
That
about
was
that either.
Tricky, yeah. I was confused. I didn't actually think at the beginning he had like voting rights because of all the non-sequestered shit he was getting. But he was actually at like an advantageous point where he tried to pretend. He's like, "Oh, there was a bombing out there. Okay, good to know. But don't tell me any details because
Right,
we're
right.
sequestered. But keep me
wait,
updated on the bombing. But keep it
but
vague."
Go follow up on this guy's suicide.
Yeah.
But then don't. But then so it was a little
So
inconsistent.
he was
there with
cheating. I mean, like
Yeah.
he came on. That's what I kind of liked about his character. He kind of presented himself to others and to us in the beginning as like this real moral guy.
Right.
But then as you see like where his power is, he's doing like really small, sneaky things to get an advantage. An advantage he was like not necessarily masterminding, but he was going to take
He was
advantage
along
of
with
it.
the ride for
Yeah.
Tucci there, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right. I like that. I like that too. That's right. That's fair. If that's what it's going for, is just showing that, like you said, that culminates with him accepting that he might be Pope, but also then acknowledging, hey, yeah, that's fine. I got a name picked out for me and everything too, right?
Mhm.
So that's and then again, I like it would have. Yeah, it just seemed like the movie had too many things I want to do. Oh, let's bring the nuns in; they get to have their moment, and then we have the other new Pope come in. He has his moment, and then it just it feels like it just sort of gets really messy towards the end.
and
There.
he gave a shout out to the nuns because he was part woman.
No nuns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hear it from my nuns in the back.
Yeah.
Stay in the
Shout out
back,
to my
though.
nuns.
Stay in the back.
People, hey!
That scene with Isabella coming in and like what did she say? Like she told on freaking Third Rock from the Sun guy, and then as soon as she was done, she like came in, yelled, said, "We're still nuns, but I have eyes" or whatever, and then kind of stomped out. That was kind of a weird scene too.
Yeah, again, it felt strange. It felt really like Frankenstein bolted on, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie,
Like,
does,
we got to show this
yeah.
thing, though. They got great costumes on in this one. They have to be seen, and we have to show this, right? Oh man, I don't know. It's a long movie. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I got to about I don't know, hour and a half, and I was like, this can't be going on much longer, right? And then it kept going every time. I was just
really,
like, I can't believe
I was
this.
really enjoying it. I really was until
I
like the
enjoyed
final.
it. I
Like, oh my
thought,
God,
like,
they're going to vote again? We got to go through all this all over again?
it's all voting TC.
Too many
I mean,
parallels to
this movie is
our current
Oscar.
election.
This movie has like Oscar bait written all over it, and for one of those movies, those can be pretty bad a lot of the time. This one was like pretty good. I would never watch it again because the whole enjoyment I got out of it was like not knowing what was coming and being intrigued by it. Now I know that it wasn't really worth the payoff. I
Right.
still had like a good time watching it.
Yeah.
And it looked great. Costumes were great. Some of the acting was pretty good. I would be not surprised if Ray Fiennes got an acting nomination for this.
That's fair.
If anyone else did, I would be pretty surprised.
There wasn't anybody else.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know, I guess maybe Lithgow, but
No,
Nah.
he's so bad.
he's an assistant in this one.
yeah.
Yeah.
He like took me out of the realism of the movie more than anything else.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, they're filming this in the Sistine Chapel, and there's Lithgow on vacation out here. They threw a robe on him, and they asked him to say some lines, and they threw it in the movie. That doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that? Get an actor that can act.
Hey,
Guys.
he's good.
I mean,
He was
sometimes
great.
he's
Not
okay.
in this.
Well,
He's
not in
fucking
this, but-
terrible.
I mean, he was great. Did you ever watch Dexter? He was an amazing bad guy.
Have you rewatched Dexter recently?
Oh, does it not work
It
very
doesn't
well?
really
No.
hold up anymore. No.
Let's see.
The acting, yeah. I mean, he was good compared to like the rest of the cast, but that was back before TV had good acting in it.
Oh, maybe so.
It's got some
You're right.
pretty bad acting in Dexter.
That's true. His sister was bad.
Oh man, a lot of the
bad.
detectives were bad.
Right.
Like Michael C. Hall
Sure.
was like okay, but he was not that good. And John Lithgow was like better than the rest, but still not great.
So it made him really shine. Well, I think possibly too, part of it was not necessarily just the acting, but the plot, what he did. Too,
Yeah, it was scary.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, I'm feeling real negative today, guy. I enjoyed it. I'm not sure I'd recommend it to people, but
I just, it's kind of sad knowing where it goes. I think that was part of why I was intrigued, because I wanted to see where it was going. I expected more from it. And in the meantime, I was really enjoying the atmosphere.
Mhm.
Like, I just think it was really well done for that. And it was very sort of relaxing at the same time. It was kind of tense. And I liked that. And but I had in my mind that it was really going to go somewhere.
Mhm.
That there was going, and so that like also
I
kept me
think the
intrigued.
movie thinks it did go somewhere. That's what I think.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of journalism and, a little bit
which
of
I always
American
like.
politics.
That's right. Yeah. So I like the ideas. It's like, oh yeah, they're struggling with this. So struggling whether or not the church gets more traditional as to preserve itself, or if it needs to extend and become more liberal, because that will bring more people in, and they might be losing people. All that stuff's really interesting to hear them discuss it or yell about it even, but it still doesn't really feel like that goes anywhere or that is very coherent, and that's a bummer. So
I think that's part of the point, though. It's like realistic, right? People spin their wheels about these topics, don't change. The church keeps going. It's like it's too big of a ship to correct, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I have good ideas, and you're like, well, only a certain portion of the population will agree with you, so fuck you.
Right. Yeah, that's right. You're not electable, so get out of here.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised the hate guy didn't win. What with all going on in the world right now, you think the hate guy would win?
Yeah.
It would make sense to me. He didn't even have any scandals, Well, he did, but no one cared. He would just say the scandals out loud in front of everyone.
Asshole.
And then people would say, yeah, that's my fucking
That's
guy.
right. He
I feel like that guy would win.
He was just a prick. That's all that guy was. He just didn't like people.
It reminds me of somebody. I can't put my
it's
finger on it.
I know.
But it's familiar. I feel like I have deja vu or something.
I don't know. It's familiar for sure,
Yeah.
but I can't place it.
We're all gonna die.
I mean, I know. It's that kind of did not. I think maybe if this wasn't happening in real life and it wasn't priest and there's so many connections going on with the story and what's happening, and I don't know, man. I just would not watch that one again. There's no way I'm putting this on my top 250.
No, TC's trying to get right to the end of this
I'm
one.
going right to the end of this one.
Jumping right to this one.
Yeah, Sistine Chapel. Who gives a shit? This movie sucked. Let's move on.
TC jumped over the course in Rainbow Road. He wants only to play half of the course. That's all he's doing.
That's right.
$20 million budget, though. I mean, that's pretty good.
Pretty good. But
it looked expensive. Did it not?
It's made double that, hasn't it? It's doing well, right?
Yeah, it's made like 80 million, so it's made like quadruple that. So,
Yeah.
and it's probably going to get some Oscar nominations. Probably going to win some. I would think.
For production design
year.
or like costume design or something.
Yeah, this movie so far.
Cinematography, maybe even too.
Definitely, yeah. This movie so far, I don't know. There's only a few movies out that people are saying are higher in contention of winning Best Picture than this movie. That's weird because this movie
doesn't seem right.
I mean,
are we just out of good movies? I mean,
I think so. I mean, the 3 best movies I've seen this year have all been like horror movies.
Oh,
and they don't give awards to those. The Substance isn't going to win Best Picture.
Rightfully so, I guess.
That would be great if it did.
It would be great.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be even more insane than Parasite winning it.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's good.
Hey, well, you know what? Parasite. Yeah.
So was The Substance. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but not as good as Parasite.
No, Parasite was.
I don't know.
But this is well below both of those.
Yes, but it is boring Oscar bait shit, which people love sometimes.
It's like The Last Emperor kind of thing, just sort of like.
And not boring. Sorry, slow and pointless. How about that?
Boring.
Yeah,
right.
A good setting for like good actors to do almost nothing in fancy clothes and fancy sets and be accessible to anyone. No one's going to hate this, probably, right? Like you could show it to somebody,
no, people are going to hate it.
I mean, you might go to hell if you don't like
disagree
it. Right?
Disagree with the happy ending there, sort of. I imagine there are conservatives and stuff that don't like it. I mean,
maybe that's why it felt so inconclusive because it wasn't a happy ending. I didn't see it as a happy ending. It wasn't a sad ending.
Yeah, but
it just put an idea out there and then went, "What do you think about this, guys?" And then ended.
Right.
So maybe it's just like a discussion piece.
The liberal Pope guy won, and so I'm sure that there are people that would disagree with that, including like people in the church.
Right.
So but yeah.
But that's okay. to disagree with the movie. They could all group around how they disagree with how the movie ended. I don't know.
Yes.
Still
Yeah,
like the
right.
movie.
That's right. They can vote themselves out.
I don't know.
Lots to talk about on
let's
this
just-
one,
let's
huh? What do you
just
got?
sit
What else you
here.
got for
It's a
trivia?
new
Let's
movie.
sit
It's
here.
hard. What else
and
you got,
think
Denny?
about our days. Nothing really.
Okay.
They remade the Sistine Chapel. All those shots were on a set. They were like just remade on a set, a huge set. That's pretty impressive. They like had painters come and do.
Were they just not paying
replicas.
Fiennes much? I mean, I guess Fiennes is a pretty top billed actor these days, but were they
I mean,
just
maybe
did they
that's
get
where the budget went.
did they get everybody on the cheap? But I mean, because
They get with movies like this, I'm pretty sure everyone gets a cut of the profits because
or
when it came to them, this guy who wrote the book and the scripts, like the director Edward Berger, just came off of that All Quiet in the Western Front movie, which made a big splash. It got Oscar nominations. It was like a Netflix movie and it got Oscar nominations. So he was big. The screenwriter is like one of the best screenwriters on the planet, the best according to Edward Berger. So he's a big screenwriter. The book was really popular. They got these famous people on pretty much immediately because
That's
they were
fair.
like,
Yeah, right. It's like,
coincidentally
hey,
nobody's
Fiennes,
hurting for cash.
Fiennes, buddy.
No.
Look, I got an Oscar for you, Fiennes.
It was
Come
probably
on.
a really quick shoot. There's not too much acting or like character stuff you have to study. You just go and stand around and say the lines.
I mean,
It
the
seems
only
easy
thing
to
I
me.
guess it could be
So-
enticing in the sense that it's religion and, that those things don't come around often, as a role for an actor. I don't think, right? It's not a very common, you're not getting spotlight too often, right? So I guess maybe that's the draw of, I don't know.
People thought the script was a page turner.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of dialogue, so
Mhm.
yeah, I'm sure you.
And when you're reading it, just like when you're watching it, you're probably wondering, ooh, I wonder where this is going to go. I can't wait to see
So
where it's
he
going to
had
go.
a uterus,
And it's over?
and it's what?
Why is the last shot of the movie him looking out the window and like three nuns coming out of a door and walking out of frame? And then it ends on that shot of up above looking down to the courtyard. Why is that the last shot of the movie? Someone explain that to me.
Do
Pope
not
was
know.
chosen, and he had something to do.
And there go the nuns.
Something to do with like women being freed from their
Oh, you think it was like symbolism? Because I didn't catch it.
It's the last shot of the movie.
Yeah.
Rule of thumb, TC. Last shot of the movie always means something. If it doesn't, it's a shitty movie. If it does,
that's kind of where I'm headed.
but if it's a boring, bland, confusing shot like that, like why would you end it with that shot? It's gotta mean something. It's gotta. I think. I mean, Independence Day. What was the end? What was the last shot of the movie? Independence Day. Does anybody remember?
That movie? I have no idea.
I'm just trying to think of
not a good
What?
reference. I think. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I have no good examples. I'm so
The
tired.
screenwriter, he hasn't written a lot that I know of. So, I mean, Peter Strawn is the screenwriter.
Yeah.
He wrote The Goldfinch, The Snowman, Our Brandis Crisis, Frank, Tinker Tailor, Soldier Spy, The Debt, The Men Who Stare at Goats, which was a movie that was not as funny as I wanted it to be.
It's about
talky.
goats, goddammit.
Lots of talking.
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy was the most confusing movie I ever saw, I think.
Yeah, that's all I remember about that one. I remember confusion.
They were talking to each other about a bunch of people in different rooms, and I walked out being like, I don't know what just happened. I'm pretty sure nothing happened. People just talked in rooms. So maybe he likes that. That's what happened in this
That's his
movie.
style.
Yeah. Well, let's talking.
Yeah. So what did you guys have for lunch today? I had a dosa. You ever had a dosa?
No.
No, what's
You never
a
had
dosa?
a dosa? Oh, guys, you're missing out. A dosa is some kind of Indian street food pancake thing. They like ladle out a bunch of batter onto a big circular iron thing, and it's like a really thin pancake. And then they put like spiced potatoes and chickpeas and shit in the
I've had
dosa and
those.
fold it up,
I've had
and then you
those.
dip
It's
it in
like
like some spicy chutney sauce, and you eat it up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Good
like
shit.
a crepe.
Your room smells like farts, or what are you trying to get at?
No, I just wanted to talk to you
want
guys
us
for a
to
little
eat
bit
it.
longer. Yeah,
I see.
we're at 25 minutes, and I'm trying to extend the podcast episode out.
You're working on it, buddy. You're working
Well,
on
God didn't want me to eat that today, so I'm sequestered. I can't do it.
You can't share
Currently.
your lunch selections.
Mhm.
it. That sounds good, though. It sounds like
Surprised you
big
haven't
city
had it.
food.
Oh, yeah, you can't get it where you are probably.
No.
Sad living in the middle of the country.
A little bit.
How's the weather down
Might
there?
be the safest place to
Oh
be.
my
I don't know.
Yeah, TC, is LA still on fire?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
New fire.
Oh, no fires here,
fire.
guys. Jesus Christ. Our high was negative 4 yesterday.
The new one isn't as drastic.
Good.
But it
That would be terrible if it was.
It started this morning at 10 a.m. and it's already at 9,000 acres. It's
Oh, shit.
like
There was another one?
exploded. Yeah. But
Is it
it's
just really
above
windy down there
Santa
still?
Clarita, and it's in like a mountain range that's kind of away from the people, and they've done a good job of knocking out the side that would ever go towards the rest of the locals in Santa Clarita. So it's seemingly in control. They've already got some containment on it. They were blitzing it with fire retardant today for the whole day around it, and so hopefully they've contained it in this little valley, but we'll see.
Damn, man. If LA doesn't get any more rain,
It's coming. No, it's coming.
It's
this
coming.
weekend.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Woo.
Or early next week, one of the two.
Thank
but yeah,
God.
there's a
Am I
storm
right?
coming.
Thank the big man upstairs.
I know.
It's definitely him helping you out. He just wanted a little bit of the
Well,
land
hopefully,
to get burned,
hopefully you've
Right.
all learned your
To
lesson. so
reset the playing
Yeah.
field and get rid of farmers insurance. That's what his real goal was.
yeah, he's got some investments in some other agencies.
Yeah, they sequestered all the insurance companies and they said, we're gonna burn the shit out of this place. You might want to get out of here. But still, don't tell anybody. Confession.
All right, I think we are out of things to talk
All right,
about.
with
There's-
that,
there's
tying
more
it up,
trivia. Hey,
let's
there
call
were a
it.
couple EPK stuff on YouTube, but it was all just people fluffing each other, talking about how awesome they are and stuff like
great.
that, which is always
Hollywood.
a drag.
Yeah.
All right, let's do predictions, huh? Might as well. We already kind of
we
talked
all
about it.
know
Let's
we're
do
not. What are we
predictions.
not putting it on the top 250? I guess is that what we're all saying?
I bet. So I'll just do my predictions here first. I bet this movie gets nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, gets nominated for Best Picture and Best Director. I bet it wins cinematography and costume design, and I bet it gets nominated for production design and one
Right.
other supporting actor award. Even I don't know who that would be, but that's my predictions.
Those are probably pretty good predictions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any difference?
I mean,
don't
I
know
would be
enough,
surprised if it won Best Picture. I would be surprised if it won Best Director. But I would not
Yeah.
be surprised if it won the other two that you mentioned.
And
I
think
haven't
we're gonna
seen
have a better
anything
idea.
else like it.
Oh wow.
Right.
It
Well,
has
we're going to
that
do that
sort of
now. So I think
Do you-
that's part of the thing that's
Do you
going
know
to be
who's?
kind of.
Do you know who's hosting the Oscars?
No.
It's going to be freaking Ricky Gervais or something.
Conan O'Brien.
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
I like
Okay.
Conan.
Oh, I know. Who doesn't like Conan? Well, I'm sure there
Yeah.
are people that don't.
There's
but,
a lot of people that
um,
don't like Conan, I think.
yeah.
But
He's
I
really
always-
kind of annoying in a
I know.
good way.
I always found his self-deprecating humor kind of endearing, but
Oh yeah,
he,
no,
he has a travel
yeah.
show that we watched the entire thing.
oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty good. He goes to like different places and just acts like a complete ass in front of people trying to like teach him about the cultures. There's this scene where he goes to like some Swedish meat factory or like a meat market where they have sausages, and he ends up eating the sausages and laying on the ground and like grabbing the dude's legs and just screaming at him because the meat is so good. He's like a 60-something-year-old guy
And he's
acting
so
like
tall.
a
and it
5-year-old.
looks ridiculous.
Yeah. And the guy that owns the meat shop is just standing there like,
I
who
don't
the
know what
fuck
to do.
is this guy? This
Why
is
is he so
weird.
red? And why is he so tall?
Yeah. That's a good show.
Wow, we're
Yeah,
really
see,
spreading this one
We're
out
really,
here.
really stretching it.
Yeah.
That's all right. It's
So
okay.
what we're going to try to do now is try to figure out if those predictions are any good. John, did you have any differences that you would want to mention? Those
Not
guesses
really.
anymore?
Those are just guesses, and I haven't seen anything else. So hardly,
That's,
other than
that's what I'm
Well, the
saying. Like we haven't.
yeah.
Like what would be the other contenders? I guess. Do you even know
well, the
them off the top of your head?
substance.
So the substance, the Brutalist is looking to be the front runner right now,
Mm.
but it has like 95% critics review on Rotten Tomatoes and like a 61% audience
Well, and
review.
it's got some
That's
controversy
never
too
good.
because they used AI in the post production. I guess.
Oh, did
Really? And it's like 3 hours plus long.
what about there's
oh God,
a complete?
no, we're not watching that, are we?
We're gonna watch that.
We're gonna watch
Ah.
it. Sorry, man.
3 hours long.
Yes, it is.
There's
That
a complete
sounds awful.
unknown.
That's not
Oh.
really a contender.
No, how about
it's like
Anora?
The Brutalist, Anora, and I'm Still Here.
Have
Those
we
are
seen
the
that? We haven't seen the other one, right? Nora?
no.
No.
What's that?
I'm not really sure.
Oh, good.
Wait,
got
was
really
it-
good
bang
reviews,
up
though.
job
that
on
one. That one's
the
streamable.
Oscar list. So far,
Yeah.
though, nothing comes to mind. Hopefully, something will come out a little bit later. I guess. I don't know.
No, it's all out there now.
Ah, that sucks.
Yeah, what we might want to do is when they release, if all these movies look like shit, like I don't want to watch Wicked. That's going to be probably a Best Picture.
No,
nominee. I don't
we've
want to watch
seen
that.
it. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I was really surprisingly not entertained.
The play was good.
Is that surprising?
Was it? I mean, I didn't. The songs aren't even that good in the movie. I was really confused. Like, I don't know. But yeah, the production values are pretty awesome. I mean, there's certainly an awful lot of money that went into it.
That's always fun.
Gonna be a
Look at
second
that
one,
cash.
so
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We could just do what we did a couple years ago. Is if the American movies don't look that good, we could just do all the foreign movies.
Yeah.
I like
I'm all
Shift
for
the
that.
focus
Yeah.
because we're focusing on one industry. If
Our
we get
next
all the
podcast will be
industries-
the international top 250 of all time.
What is
There
it?
you
Yeah.
go. We'll be so fucked
Yeah.
watching that.
So many movies.
Oh my god, you don't even want to start thinking about it. All right.
Okay, so let's watch Honora next week. What do you think?
Nora?
It's not
Sonora?
it's not the 3-hour long one. The Brutalist
All right.
is only in theaters still right now. So you have to go to the theater for a 3-hour, 20-minute long
Yeah.
movie.
Honora.
God.
Yeah.
That sounds
Oh yeah, yeah. This
Sounds
is like
bad.
a young escort from Brooklyn meets and impulsively marries the son of a Russian oligarch.
That sounds pretty good.
All right. Let's
Yeah.
try
Where
it.
that goes.
Nora. So where can we watch that? Is that any online? or?
I saw it rentable for like not too much on like Apple TV.
You can rent
Oh,
it.
okay.
You can
Cool.
rent it. Yeah.
Great.
From anywhere.
All right, Honora it is. Next
Nora,
week.
all right, Oscar season, guys. Let's
There we
friggin'
go.
do it.
Yeah.
All right, talk to you guys next week.
See ya.
All right. See you guys.